go and play Commander. When you take a night away from your work.
Woohoo!
All right.
50 points for Gryffindor. What just... I hate...
Say it, baby. What do you hate?
I hate that
Me.
situation.
He hates me.
Whoa. Welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy Christmas. We missed all the holidays. We missed a week last week. I apologize. We're going to start off the podcast in the intro apologizing for our first... For our fist? I don't know, your beer. For our first missed podcast in 3 years, everybody.
I would like to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. I did feel bad.
I was here. I was just sitting at my computer waiting, but no one showed up.
It was weird. It's just everything fell on such a weird day this year. It felt like the holidays were all so connected.
Not the best holiday experience as far as days they fell on. I will say.
I agree. Joined by my good friend Josh from Hometown TCG. Go subscribe to his channel. My name's Louie, and down below on the bottom left in George's spot is I think maybe younger looking. Does what do we think? Does Donald look younger than George?
Look younger than George?
I don't know what I feel about that. Comment section, let us know.
I'm probably older than George.
Oh, you just ruined it. I was going to let the comment section have a vote, but
I don't know. I don't know how old George is.
We are joined by Donald, co-host of this podcast. He's in the thumbnail now all the time, so he's made it. Congrats, Donald. We never talked about you being a member, but you're here when George isn't, which is at least 50% of the time.
Do I get like a jacket or a card or anything?
Nope, not that I know of. Josh, did you get anything like that?
No.
Yeah.
No. There's a hazing process.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I've gone through that for the last 3 years.
You have. It started a long time ago.
Okay.
It's called being my friend.
Yeah.
Today, everybody, we're going to talk about 2025. We're going to go through the list of all the card games we talk about. Magic, Pokemon, Sorcery, Lorcana, One Piece. I think that's all of them. We're going to go through what we anticipate for 2025, what we're excited about, what we hope for, what we hope they do. And we may harken back to 2024 to say what we thought worked. Wow, what are you doing there?
Just moved myself a little bit. I was annoyed.
Digitally moving yourself. That's impressive. That was. Do you have like a? Whoa!
Wow!
Oh, you're using OBS.
Yeah.
We already had this discussion earlier.
How else would we bring back the classics?
All right, let's get right into it. Talk about Magic the Gathering. What do you guys hope from Magic? So exciting.
I don't want to give... No, before you and Donald get your...
Just put the FUD alert
FUD
on.
alerts. No, I'm not. For you two, I will. For me, I'll say it. 2024 went way better than I ever expected it would.
Yeah.
This year... As far as if you take a look at the last, let's say 5 years of Magic Roundout, banger. Absolute
wow.
Banger of a year.
I don't feel like 2024 was a good year for Magic. I don't feel like it was a bad year for Magic. I feel like it was just a
year for Magic.
I feel like it was just a flat line year. Like it didn't have high points. It didn't have low points. It was just an average year. Like
what a god awful take. And
you two can go ahead now.
What an obvious anti-take that was, Donald. The comment section can see right through you. We need somebody giving us points on this podcast. This needs to be around the horn.
Oh, I would just win.
No way.
Nobody else wants to talk about TCGs. I would win.
Oh, I always want to talk about TCGs.
That's true.
Always.
That's true.
We need an around the horn. We need a judge. That does around. I think that should have been this year.
Donald, you can't be the judge. I see it in your eyes. If someone makes a positive point, they're not getting any points. Can't be the judge.
Donald's way too biased. It needs to be like another card shop owner who has like actual knowledge of.
I don't have bias.
You are the most biased human being against Magic I've ever met. You hate Magic.
You said 2024 wasn't
not true. I have Magic cards.
They are currently going through my Fizz batch, everybody.
I kept 8 Commander decks.
All right. I think that's a terrible take. 2024 was an amazing year for Magic.
It was incredible.
I would say maybe the best year for Magic since I've been involved in Magic 2010.
What was the highlight?
It doesn't have to have a highlight. The whole year.
What was good? Just tell me what was good about it.
There was one miss.
Every single miss.
That's it. Murders at Carlisle Manor was the miss.
And for the miss, by the way, the missed product, the worst product, has some of the most played cards across every single Magic format in the Digland set.
Yeah,
so
the Diglands are great.
The missed product has some of the most played cards in the game.
Yeah, I mean, like there wasn't a miss other than Murders, which is the beginning of the year for a set. On top of that, the play booster seems to have worked phenomenally. I mean, I don't understand it. I still think
it's different every set, but sure.
I still think it's stupid. The fact that it doesn't have commander cards on it in it and it still sells so well baffles me. Absolutely. I feel bad selling play boosters to people because I'm like, do you know that you can't get a lot of the cards? Okay, go ahead.
I want to spoil this for you.
They don't.
Magic cards are commander cards.
Yeah, I know. But play boosters have worked really well. And in fact, that negative point about play boosters has worked out positively for the commander decks. Look at Duskmourn commander deck set right now is $200
and selling.
And selling on TCG Play. Like it's just worked. Like the product fixing for Magic in 2024 worked phenomenally. The question I have is, can they keep up the positive set experience that they have created in 2024 into 2025? In my mind, they have to miss at some point a couple times in a row. Like there's only so many developers who are developing the sets, and like what has worked really well in 2024 is that almost everything was fun to play.
2025 is going to be the year of the big IP universes beyond. Like,
sure,
that's not going to be a miss just because of the IP. The IP is going to pull that through. So I don't see 2025 doing bad at all just because those sets are just. I mean, even if they're bad sets, people are still going to buy them because they want Captain America and Spider-Man and what Final Fantasy is this year too, right?
Yeah,
is it?
I think it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, Final Fantasy is the summer set.
Yep. So what I think you guys are both, at least not discussing enough for my taste, for my liking, is the idea that all these sets are now going through the same life cycle. So we got 6 sets that we know of, right? And Donald made a good point. Half of them being Universes Beyond. Like it or not, Universe Beyond sets go well.
Standard for the first time.
But these are going through your sets are now going through a standard design life cycle.
Yeah.
Right? They theoretically will be standard power level, whatever that means nowadays in 2024, 2025, and they're going to exist across the multiple formats and then in with Commander. Instead of being designed again in theory directly for Commander, it's going to feel more like Magic cards that are designed for a normal flow that find their way into Commander. Now,
I do like the idea of all sets being like the same legality because it's so confusing for a player who's not in the just your average person that's picking up some packs along the way. Just like you said, Louis, you showed up to play Standard the first time and you had not standard legal deck. I mean, it's weird.
Yeah, but it wasn't a modern deck. It was just
but just a random pile of cards. If you
was a kitchen table.
If you want to play Magic because you love Spider-Man and you go and buy all the Spider-Man stuff, and then you show up to play at a Standard event, God help your soul, and you're like, I brought my Spider-Man deck. Like that's just it's a feel. The whole point of Universes Beyond is to reach to people who aren't necessarily already Magic players, and by making the sets legal throughout all formats, that really helps further that objective. I think.
I agree. I mean, I think that's a win as well. I think 2025, what it's missing is fan service. Like it doesn't have the Magic the Gathering fan.
There's no Dominaria. There's no
foundations. There's no
Dominaria. There's no foundations. There's no what was the Brothers War was the one I was thinking before you guys said though. Like a set that like excites. I guess you could say like Tarkir, but like that doesn't. I don't know.
Tarkir's an older plane, but it's still not like, it's not one of the I mean, they have the best fan service you have this year is going to be Innistrad Remastered.
Let's be fair. Innistrad, all these remastered sets are strictly fan service sets.
Yeah, that's fair. Other than, and it's kind of hard because that's
right away.
And it's wild. I mean, that's right away. And 2 weeks after that is Aether Drift. I mean, it's like,
if Innistrad Remastered is a good draft, if it is just a fantastic draft experience, people will be drafting it all year. I mean, like it'll be wanted to be drafted for a while.
Yeah.
So
it feels like a lot of the regular release sets, though, like the standard, like Aether Drift, Tarkir, and Edge of Eternities, it feels like even those are universes beyond. Yeah, I mean, like Magic in space.
Aether Drift for sure. Like, that
Magic, but car racing. Like,
see, I don't feel that way. I know that that's and I know I'm wrong because I know the whole community feels that way, but I don't feel that way. I don't get that vibe.
So I think like it matters to a degree, but in a much more bigger world, it doesn't matter. If the set's mechanics are fun, then the people who like we say this all the time. The fan service for Magic the Gathering is that when you go and play Commander, when you take a night away from your work.
Woohoo!
All right.
50 points for Gryffindor. What just happened?
So I have it was a TV.
It was
a past tense.
It was a TV sound box that was underneath my TV that we stopped using. So I was like, hey, I should use that in my room, my office, for when I want to listen to music and work on my computer. And I just set it on top of my 2 monitors because I'm not. This is 6 months ago, by the way. I just set it on top.
Never fallen.
No, it just sits on top, resting half on each monitor, which are on my monitor stands. And I just bumped my TV and it fell. So.
I always think being in my office and like shooting where I shoot would be interesting. Yours is way more interesting.
Dude, my setup's so janky.
You got balanced stuff. You're towing the line.
Crazy. Listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I've fallen into this. What was I even talking about?
So
yeah, I'm good. So you take this time away from your wife and kids, you go to play Magic and you don't have a good time. That sucks. Nobody wants to do that. But if you go and you have fun playing the new sets, that's a huge win. And that's what sells sets. That's what makes people happy. And that's the ultimate fan service that I hope we see this year. My fear is that we've seen a ton of that. Like we've seen so much of that over the last year. It's like, how can they keep up with the good set releases? But maybe they're just good at it.
Well, at one point, like Lorwyn was probably like an Aether Drift. It's like what it's something that's out. It's not what you were used to.
I don't know about that.
Lorwyn's a random example, but still, like Kaladesh was like
Mirrodin would be a good one.
Mirrodin, sure.
Example.
You can't say Kaladesh. Oh my God! Now picture frames are falling. What is happening? It's like an earthquake in here. Holy crap.
If you tuned into the first podcast of 2025, you get a special treat. This might be Louis' last.
My set list wall fell.
How did that was like actually on the wall.
Yeah,
how did that fall off?
Everyth's falling.
We don't know what might fall at him next. Stay tuned.
Wow.
God willing, something will just fall on my head and end the podcast for us.
Well, no, no one's there to press the button. Donald,
I'll drive over there and I'll end it.
Turn off the podcast.
Fine. Someone's got to post it. If I go out, somebody post it.
We can't miss 2 weeks in a row.
But those sets, you got to run. If you're trying to go to new planes, you've got to run out of ideas eventually that are normal. You've got to find some stuff, and it might be a hit. It really just a bit. To me, it doesn't really matter what the plane is. It matters, is it a good play experience? Are the cards good? Does it like the plane is kind of just a little bonus. Like if the plane is also good, then that's great. But it just matters what the play experience is.
Yeah.
So along those, both of your points, I think, are valid, and I think there's a concern there that kind of step in line with exactly what you guys are talking about with the, the quality of the set, and we're out of plane. So let's say we're teetering on this edge, right? Outlaws of Thunder Junction, I would call as a set that was teetering on the edge, but had just gas. Like the cards were just good. The box opening experience felt like one of a kind.
The mechanics were just so much fun.
It was.
Like I hated the flavor of that set, but it was fun to play. It was a blast to play.
So we're gonna be kind of teetering on that. We'll call it the OTJ line. But with all of the sets, or not all of the sets, I know that we have Final Fantasy. I know we've got probably a Commander specific set going through. With an overwhelming majority of the sets flowing through this normal, workflow, this normal standard life cycle, I could see a lack of power in the sets holding them back. Because
if they're all standard legal, then they're all going to feel like nothing's going to feel more powerful than another. They're all going to feel the same essentially.
Unless they just up the power of standard.
They could, but that's just something they talk about not wanting to do all the time.
But they keep doing it, right? Every time Magic hits this wall where it's like, hey, we need to sell our regular sets, we get things like, Throne of Eldraine.
Yeah, they do it, and then they pull it back. Like they realize, Throne was a mistake. Let's ban half the cards, and let's make the next set not.
You set it up on a T for him, Josh. He hates that set.
But it doesn't matter. It gives you the gas that you need. People get excited about it again. People get hyped, and then as you slowly peel back that power level, you're coming down from a high into a low. You could tell me a world where 2025 suffers from these sets are fun. This is great. There's not really anything I want to add to my Commander deck. Right. Now, the benefit is, we've talked about it a million times, how do people play Commander? They build 47 decks. So luckily, when a new set comes out, if it's fun, they'll want to build around something in the set.
Final Fantasy will really be the tell for that question, won't it?
So I think that's an exception, not the rule, because it lives outside of that design cycle we're talking about. The design.
No, it's standard legal.
No, I don't believe so.
All Universes Beyond, starting with Final Fantasy, are standard legal. That was the whole conversation. Wasn't it? Yeah, wasn't that what we had?
I thought the summer set was standalone, was out separate. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, okay. But
maybe it's all Final Fantasy, all Universes Beyond, starting with Marvel.
Yeah, I thought it was starting with Spider-Man.
The question is, did they design these sets knowing they were going to make them standard legal, or was this an after decision?
Yes, they did, Donald.
Are you sure? They designed sets like 2-3 years in advance.
Yeah. And if not, they have been since modified. And that doesn't mean things won't slip through the cracks. Take any trading card game since the beginning of time.
Starting in 2025, new Universes Beyond booster sets will be legal in all constructed formats.
Booster sets, but not like the ones that are just...
Question, you're saying we don't know that Final Fantasy is a full-fledged Lord of the Rings product.
Yeah, is it a command? Is it Doctor Who? Is it Fallout? I think it's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I think it's Lord of the Rings just because of the way that they put this out there. It's 214 is Eighth of Drift, 411 is Tarkir, 613 is Final Fantasy, 81 is it. They're showing you their tent poles.
Me too.
But so maybe not. I could be wrong. I don't know what the big summer set is if it's not Final Fantasy.
No, I think I'm telling you, I think you're correct. So let's do a thought exercise. Let's take Lord of the Rings, and let's take the cards that warped Modern. And I'm not talking the cards that saw play in Modern, but let's take Bowmaster,
Wandering
and Bowmaster, yeah,
for sure. And they completely warped Modern and remove them from the set, right? Now, still, overwhelmingly powerful set, even without those two cards. How does that set sell?
Still fine. It sells fine.
I think it does too.
It might not be Modern Horizons 2 set of the best-selling set of all time, but I think it's still the best-selling set of the year.
100%. I agree.
I don't know that Final Fantasy has the same IP reach as Lord of the Rings, though. That's a concern.
But if you give up some of that, if you give up some of that juice, that best-selling set of all time juice, because you've removed the modern power level, but also you inject a little juice into Karlov Manor, because now Karlov Manor is Spider-Man. You inject a little juice into OTJ because we don't like cowboy hats, but now this is Fallout, the standard set. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe overwhelmingly it makes up for it across the board.
Yeah, which would be great. I would love a world where like every Magic set just does good. And you don't have like the Karlov that sucks and you lose your shirt, and then the what was the one that Fallout where you get no product and it's a $700 box a month later.
But that's a potential that they are gonna, they can't go away from. You mentioned Fallout. I want to talk about Doctor Who, and then I got Warhammer back here. That's kind of before its time as the first one. You cannot go away from these Universes Beyond standalone commander sets. They are insane.
They might didn't they say they have less commander decks this year coming out?
They're designing cards.
Yeah, there are less sets overall this year, aren't there?
There are, and they're designing cards instead of my biggest complaint when I first came on the podcast was like, I hate that every pack, every set booster is just like, what commander card do I get? Yeah. Now they're designing cards for standard, and they're giving the power to commander players to say, hey, I want to play this. This looks like fun. I found this. I found that. That to me is more fun. It's definitely worse for product sales, like 100%.
Yeah. So he says 2 less new releases, 2 less new products with new content, and 1 less new booster release than 2025. Yeah. There will be 7 new product releases, 6 with new card designs. Indestructible Monster is the reprint.
So can we just say cards flowing through a normal design space? We always talk about Universe Beyond how much it sucks, but cards flowing through a normal design space, people gathered around a smaller lane of products since they got rid of the draft booster box, right? Mm-hmm. And what was I saying? Oh my god, I forgot my thought in the middle of my thought. I think that these things and less releases and fewer products, right? I think we're setting ourselves up for what we want as fans, but a worse business year.
Maybe it could be an equally good business year if all the products are really good.
I think the spend is still the same, regardless of if there's 5 products or 15 products. I still think the spend is the same. If you have less products, but if you have less products to spend the money on, you just buy more of that product.
Magic's problem now, not problem, but Magic's world now is that you as a consumer don't buy everything, but there are more consumers. Like in this, you see this in the store all the time. People who don't come in very often come in and buy. Oh, I miss Lord of the Rings. I'm going to buy a Lord of the Rings. But it's just like the customers are way less committed. It's funny. I'm watching Silicon Valley right now, and I've been dude, it's so good. It's the second time I watched it. First time my wife's watched it.
How have we not talked about this? I've watched that series like 3 times.
It's so good. Anyway, I keep seeing Magic the Gathering in on the set. They never really talk about it, but there will be a coffee table with a Magic the Gathering deck box, and I keep thinking to myself, back then, this was 2010, I think the series ended. But I think so. I don't know. Sure. Anyway,
somewhere
it started in 2010. Back then, Magic was this nerdy thing that nobody knew, that nobody cared about, that it was not a mainstream thing. Now they are trying to create Magic into this it's Fortnite. It is it is a normal non-nerdy thing. It's not Dungeons and Dragons anymore. It's Spider-Man.
But it kind of it is Dungeons and Dragons in the sense that take yourself back to one of the very first coxisms, if you will, where it's like I walk into there and everybody knows what Dungeons and Dragons is, but nobody knows what Magic the Gathering is. We should have seen from that statement, his goal is to make it so more people at his cocktail party have, I heard of that. They made Lord of the Rings cards, right?
Right. And that's I think a loss from a community standpoint, a feeling of being a part of something special. But it's a massive, massive win to Donald's wrong point. It's a massive, massive win from a sales logistics standpoint. The amount of customers it grows exponentially because of it. So
I'm so hyper fixated on that take. I hate that take so much.
Why? That's not a positive. It's a negative for the community.
Well, why do I care if the thing that I love is super niche?
Because what it's created is that it's not special anymore. It's not these characters that we love and we fall in love. Now they're fighting Spider-Man, and that sucks.
But those characters we've argued for. God, oh my gosh, how many years?
I'm not saying they did a good job with it. I'm saying that because they didn't do a good job with it, we now open up the world to all this other stuff, and it's just less special. It doesn't feel like this. I
think those are 2 different takes, right? Spider-Man fighting Jace, but versus someone caring that the whole world is now in on the thing.
Well, the whole world's in on the thing as a result of Spider-Man being in on it, Lord of the Rings being in on it. Like that's why. So they go together. They're connected.
Yeah,
they're connected takes.
Yeah, one caused the other, but I don't.
Right.
If your Magic the Gathering experience is worse because more people know what Magic the Gathering is or want to try it. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Okay, perfect. That's
I want all those losers in my store playing.
Yeah, I was like, bro.
I agree, and I think the means. We've talked about this. The means to the end is worth it. It's justified. It will happen, and it's what happens with anything that's good, right? Like it gets big, and then it's not as good for the people who loved it. Like
sure. Now, here's the sneaky winner for 2025 because I know
I want to do predictions. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead. No, you tell us what.
This isn't a prediction. I had a separate prediction. I didn't know you're doing that. Sneaky winner for 2025.
Okay, what is it?
Their plan to make people play standard is looking pretty good. Maybe. It's looking better right now at the end of 2024 going into 2025 than I thought it would be, and I was the most optimistic about this plan. I thought it was going to be a several-year plan. I think more people are interested in standard than I thought would be at this point, and I think 2025 is going to set that up for some success.
We've had minimal success with standard. I will say we have had some success with standard.
And you predicted 0.
Yeah, but it's been minimal. And the problem with us is that we do our standard on Tuesday nights, and Friday nights our draft. I mean, if we did Friday night standard, it'd be way better. But our draft, we have 12 to 16 every week for draft, and it's like I'm not changing that.
No, that's a great call. But like standard, the average price of a standard deck right now is like $225.
It's pretty good.
And there's $500 decks, and there's I think it's a $95 deck. So there's a range, but you can get a couple decks for $225, and you can have really good standard decks and a really good standard play experience. And that to me, you've kind of entered a sweet spot.
It'd be interesting to see on Arena now. They have to program twice as many sets into Arena because if they're standard legal, they have to be in there. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
They kind of ramped themselves up to this. Most sets, like MH3 came out in Arena, which I always thought was weird. They do standalone Arena remastered sets. So I think they're equipped for that.
All right. So here we have 7 new product releases, 6 with new card designs, so Innistrad Remastered is just reprints, 7 that are booster releases. This is according to Mark Rosewater. So all 7 of the releases will have booster boxes. None of them are just commander decks. What is the number 1 selling release of 2025?
It's Marvel.
It's not just it's just Spider-Man.
You guys are both going with Spider-Man?
No, it's Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Nah.
Because Marvel isn't if Marvel was the Avengers set, it's Final Fantasy. God, just say something like Aether Drift, Louis. I see the wheels turning. I want to be a contrarian.
No, I want to go. I was gonna go with Final Fantasy, but you couldn't pay me enough to agree with Josh. It's not something. It's not worth being on this podcast. I think
Innistrad Remastered will be a sneaky
dude. Innistrad Remastered is not even on their look at 2025.
No.
It's not even on their graphic. It wasn't even worth the time.
Donald, if you don't realize by now that the things you like are not the things that make the Magic business go burr.
I think it will be an expensive box because allocations were not great. Like I think it will be an expensive product.
Yeah. I'm a fan. I think Innistrad Remastered is going to be awesome.
But it will not be the number 1 selling product.
It'll be my number 1. That number 1 in my heart.
If he buys 1 pack, it'll be his number 1.
Oh, I won't buy a single pack, but Louis, I might draft it once.
Louis, give him one. Make it his number 1 set. I'll pay for it.
I'm gonna go with the surprise. I'm gonna go with the TBA UUB. The universes unreleased universes beyond, unannounced universes beyond.
It's just gonna be Marvel, so then it's just my take.
Honestly, I don't know.
When you say Marvel, you got to pick a set.
No,
any
Marvel set.
They choose to release.
Dude, if they did Avengers, that would definitely be the number one.
100%.
Especially if it's in the Christmas, if it's the November set that comes out, like right before the holidays. Like
no summer. If it's a summer set, that summer set pops, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. That summer.
That's why you're going to be right with Final Fantasy, and I probably should just double down with Final Fantasy.
Well, I know you want to be a contrarian, but I will mercilessly mock you.
That's what I don't want to happen.
Remember when you didn't say Final Fantasy was going to be set of the year?
George is also going to be Final Fantasy because George has been talking about the Final Fantasy set for 2 years.
Because we know our stuff on this podcast to a small extent, to enough to know that Final Fantasy will be that. This is not a hard thing to guess. This is not a big.
I'm doubling down. Universes Beyond unreleased. TBA end of the year is going to be set of the year.
That's the SpongeBob set, and you're going to get crushed.
Oh my god! Please no.
I hope so.
That's the problem. Like it could not be Marvel.
It could be My Little Pony again.
Oh, that's right. Maybe that's too much of a risk. I'm going back to Final Fantasy. I'm on Final Fantasy set of the year. Official end of the year take. Final Fantasy.
Hold on. Let me sway you one more time. What if it's a Pokemon crossover?
No shot. No shot.
Universes Beyond Pikachu and my Magic the Gathering.
If Magic figured out a way to get Pokemon collectors into Magic the Gathering,
it would be over.
It'd be over. That would be. I can't even contain myself in this room thinking about
how much of your net worth would you spend on that set?
Dude, I would sell all the Magic product I have to go all in on that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
That would, if Final Fantasy release was gone and this was a Pokemon Magic the Gathering full-fledged release like Lord of the Rings was, with a one-of-one chase that Logan Paul could chase after that, like whatever, it would outsell Modern Horizons 2 by 3x. It would 3x Modern Horizons 2.
Probably. How quickly would you build an Ash Ketchum commander deck?
Yeah, 100%. It's all creature. It's like a bunch of creature. Oh,
it's typal. It's a typal deck.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm too excited about it. It's a good transition though. Good job. That was a really, really well done transition to our next topic, which is Pokemon. Gosh, I can't wait to hear the comment section on our takes on that. I love listening to the comment, looking at what they thought about our Magic takes.
The bad part is at least my comment section, I've had Magic's been doing really well, and it's a lot of fun and positive things to say. Yeah. So it's a couple of the same people. I will never play ever. Wizards stole.
Magic 30th ruined everything. Never forget Magic 30th.
I get a bunch
it's really just me in both your comment sections with all my different accounts.
Donald and his burners. You know, I made a burner for Louis' stream once, and I called the account definitely not Hometown TCG.
Oh man! All right, Pokemon. So we are going into crazy Pokemon year. Crazy. We don't have like a release picture because that doesn't exist for Pokemon.
Yeah, because they hate their fans.
Yeah, that's fair. But Pokemon is having. You've got we're off the bats of Surging Sparks, and we're going into Prismatic Evolution, which is the first set of the year. It's a supplemental set, so it doesn't have a full booster box. And currently on what?
I wanted to complain about that again. Every chance I get, I hate that they do sets with no booster box. I hate it so much, Louis.
Yeah, it's not great.
Pull some strings at Nintendo. Call some people.
Currently, so the biggest thing you can buy is an Elite Trainer box for Prismatic Evolutions.
Currently you can't get a booster bundle case?
Well, you can get a booster bundle case, but I'm talking about individual product would be the 10-pack Elite Trainer box. Currently going for $127 on TCG Player.
For an ETB?
Yeah. It's $12 a pack. MSRP is, I think, 50 or 60, maybe 60.
Wow.
Absolutely insane. I'm talking to stores who I got a little bit more than this, but I'm talking to stores locally who only got 15 ETBs from each distro.
Since when? Since when can you not get Pokemon product?
So my reps told me that that they're seeing like pandemic level account creations. That they're starting to have to reject account creations because of people trying to create accounts to get distro to get Pokemon. It's crazy.
Wait,
I don't understand.
You're the Pokemon expert. You're the.
I'm not. I'm
Hold on.
I'm the noob. The noob.
Look around you. Look around you on this podcast.
Donald's been playing Pokemon longer than I have. Donald played.
I played.
Not asking you about gameplay. Don't care about gameplay. Donald, I respect your opinions. Don't care about your Pokemon gameplay opinions. Louis,
yeah,
you're the only one here who has been on the I Move Pokemon train for the past 2 years through the darkest times, through the worst of times.
Thoroughly on the Pokemon train right now, everybody. I have a problem.
Are you concerned with this price before release for a Pokemon product?
Doesn't matter at all. This product is like such a nothing burger. There's no product. There's everybody's texting me like, can you give me? No, I can't. It doesn't exist. There is no product.
Is this the famed Rudy short print set?
It's not that it's short printed. It's just that like when Pokemon people want something, they just don't care and they just go and they get it and they want it. And like it's created so stupidly. There's no booster box. Like it's so dumb. So it's so bad. And like the booster bundles, you're like, can't you just get a booster bundle case? Like, yeah, but I as a store am getting 5 booster bundle cases. Like,
yeah, and it doesn't feel the same. The booster bundle case doesn't feel the same as the booster box. Like they're cool. But here's the real test. All right, here's the litmus test. Donald, the resident player, hates sealed product investing, keeping things sealed. He hates prices of products going up. Has Pokemon crossed your radar of like, yeah, I'll buy a box of each of these sets? Why? Because it's going to go up in value.
Nope.
So,
and we haven't reached the peak yet.
Here's the thing though, Josh, is like as soon as people don't want Pokemon, it's worthless. Like it's as soon as like somebody messaged me today. It was like, hey, do you have any Scarlet and Violet cases available? It's like a guy who I've known on the channel for 4 years. He's been here. He's like one of the first, people. I was like, dude, you should really try reaching out to me when nobody else wants the product. Like right now, I could have gotten you all this stuff at cost 6 months ago. No sweat. Now all of a sudden, because everybody wants it, so Pokemon falls off a cliff hard, and that is the only thing I think about this set that I think sucks. Everybody wants this set, they can't get it. So then what happens? Do they just give up on Pokemon? Do they just walk away and say, well, if I can't buy the product at MSRP, screw you guys, I'm going home.
They buy something else.
They go and just. But then what do they buy? Like,
I mean, something else Pokemon. Like they turn around and, or just like today when I watched you go through and realize all your Pokemon products were listed $80 below what they should be. Like they just find something else to buy.
Yeah. I think that's the fear is like, but I think with Pokemon this year is really good, not because of this set, but because of Team Rocket and the gym challenge sets. I think that's going to bring back a lot of
that's people. Nostalgia. Like
that Donald nostalgia, like that.
Pokemon leans into that nostalgia stuff.
Well, and like they didn't for basically the entire Scarlet and Violet area. Like the entire Scarlet and Violet era has been like, other than Obsidian Flames, the Charizard has been all these new Pokemon that Terra Ghost and Spoon Man. Like I have no clue who these Pokemon
sounds like a Mega Man villain.
My daughter has a Toy Story Forky toy. And
I love that.
It always makes me laugh. We have these like intricate Buzz, Woody, Rex, Slinky Dog that actually does the Slinky, and then we got a fork with some like hands on it, and she's like, "Daddy, it's my Forky." I'm like, "What?"
I love Forky. He's the best character because he's like, you're trash just like us.
That's that line is deep. I forgot about that line.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie. You know that? Did you guys know that Steve Jobs was like behind Pixar and all that stuff?
No. As in he helped keep them afloat and kept encouraging Apple to buy them?
No, so like so I just read listen, I didn't read. I listened to the Steve Jobs talk.
That's a great book.
We know.
Walter Isaacson.
Yeah, so he became the president of Pixar, and at the time they were selling computers, but there was one guy who made animations. They were like trying to sell these big animation computers, and there was one guy who made animations, and he won this like animation award, and Steve Jobs like not fell in love, but befriended him and fell in love with this guy's passion for animation and for creating stories. This guy goes on to create the Toy Story thing because Steve Jobs like took risks and moved money around to keep his job afloat and to keep him in. And that's what then went on and create Toy Story. And then they pivoted because of the success of Toy Story away from creating computers and into making digital animation that got them bought by Disney and all this stuff. At one point,
I think he also encouraged the Disney partnership and an eventual sale. I think he was like, hey, you need to be in bed with these guys.
Yeah, eventually he was like the largest shareholder of Disney because of his sale of Pixar. It's crazy. Anyway,
I digress.
So I still don't know what caused this recent Pokemon surge. Like normally, when the Pokemon Go came out, there was a surge. You know, that when like a new Pokemon video game comes out, there's a surge. But what caused this? Like, where did this one come from?
So here's my prediction. Here's my opinion. No.
That was so long ago.
Bad take.
This is 100% because it brought everyone back into the fold.
No, because the value of the products were dirt cheap that whole time. There was no extra. 151 came out and people were mad because they came back to the hobby and they said the pull rates are way too tough. I can't get anything. They got mad, and that's why you saw 151 on a lot of shelves for a long time.
But you know what it did is it did the same thing that Universes Beyond does for Magic. We always talk about Universes Beyond bringing in the Doctor Who fan. You know who it really brings in? The Doctor Who fan who used to play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what it does. 151 did that. It brought you back into the fold. And whether you felt you were online on a forum talking about percentage of pull rates, the majority of the people weren't doing that. They were opening cards and seeing nostalgic Pokemon.
I'm not talking about people online on a forum. I'm talking about people who buy packs from me at the store and say
the pull rate. That one guy's wrong.
I don't want to follow
that one guy is wrong. No.
I think 151 might have something to do with it. Like there's definitely some like I will give you a 10%. Like it brought people into it.
151 brought 10%. You're a dink with your numbers.
Like when I look back at my interactions with Pokemon customers and what I hear on the internet, not in forums, but from people who are patrons and stuff like that.
It's really a different forum.
it really is the announcement of the Team Rocket set. Yeah, and it's so stupid because like all we know about this stupid Team Rocket set is they teased an R in 2025. Like that's all we know. And but that teasing got people to go look back, and it's that then caused people to go buy singles from 151 that they missed out on because they couldn't pull them. Then 151 singles went up, and so then they started saying, well, if I'm going to get back in the hobby, let me hop into some of these sets that I missed out with Scarlet and Violet, and the product just wasn't there anymore, and that jump-started the expensiveness of the product, and now you've got Prismatic Evolutions where everyone's like, oh, I'm back in! I need to get these new EVs! And
I think you created a perfect scenario, right?
Yeah.
151. You talk about this Team Rocket announcement. I argue that if 151 didn't exist, no one would have ever heard the Team Rocket announcement. Right?
No one.
All these people that you're talking about that got back, they heard the Team Rocket announcement, like, I'm going to buy 151 singles now, even though I wasn't interested then. Like, no, it brought them back in the fold to hear that announcement. And then I think that low prices had something to do with people going back. If you're a fan, right? A 151 Team Rocket announcement, you're like, oh, I can buy a booster box. Oh, it's $100. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll crack packs with my kid. I'll relive some of my childhood. I would never able to buy, like, it's $100 to do that. So do you think the Team Rocket set being hype and then possibly being expensive, so you go expensive set starts to kill some of that, what I would consider to be maybe inorganic interest?
Maybe. Yeah, like I think like Pokemon is high risk right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like people should not be buying $125 ETBs.
Feels very crypto.
Ooh, no. I like that, Donald.
No, like
that
was definitely pandemic. I don't feel that now. I feel like a lot of now is like people wanting to just rip packs. Like Pokemon people have a problem. Like they have a gambling problem.
Well, and they're doing what we just said Magic is not doing in 2025, and that's the fan service. Like if they are doing the opposite of what we said that Magic was not going to do well in 2025, and that's a lot of, like you said, the Team Rocket thing will pull people in. I don't know. I can name you a single Pokemon outside of the 151, not a single one.
Yeah.
But like I know Team Rocket, I know all the gym trainers and that kind of stuff. Like I played those games. I played the original Red, Blue,
some of the most iconic Pokemon cards of all time in that set too. Like, I think so. Going back to what caused it, the other thing is the app. Like Donald Malachi downloaded the new Pokemon app. Is like
it's shocking.
Yeah, it's like completely crazy. And so like that might have something to do with it. One of my fears though with Pokemon is that as the English product gets so hard to get, you're going to see people say, well, I'm just going to open up Japanese product instead. And so there is a big floor for Pokemon oh my gosh.
You mentioned product getting hard to get, dude.
I need to
look at that graph. Look at that graph.
Holy moly.
I mean, I think you're onto something. I mean, even we talk about what Pokemon does well is these ETBs. Like, you don't have a $50 entry point anymore right now into Pokemon.
Dude, and like I hear this all the time about Surging Sparks.
Like, yeah, you just don't have an entry point for what we always talk about, your casual fan, right? Like,
dude, Distro played that so hard.
I don't think a single Pokemon person out there cares about price though. Like price is no option to your Pokemon collectors. Like it doesn't matter.
Here's your whales, but in my opinion, where Pokemon shines is very similar to Lorcana. A kid's got $40 in their pocket, they get to leave with a box where they get to have fun with.
And
right?
that's where it sucks. But it sucks because the person who gets screwed there is
the kid.
Is the kid whose parents don't have money.
Right.
Because the kid whose parents have money, they don't care if it's a $75 box. They don't even know how many packs are in it. They don't care. They just want to, frankly, I'm not gonna say it. They just want to shut the kid up. They're just
your
like
average Pokemon kid fam. Like your average Pokemon kid bites the bullet here. They get screwed.
Yeah. But like Donald's saying, the adults who are in the Pokemon world, there's nobody for the most part complaining about prices of stuff. Most Pokemon adults understand that if the booster box is $250, that's because there's a $500 card you can pull in it. That's because there's multiple high-end cards and it's worth it to, it's not worth it, but it's the value of the potential pulls.
You're buying a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
It's a concept we've become comfortable with.
Yeah, it scales. So like I think the Pokemon adults are fine. I think it just sucks for kids. And that's why I think it's good that Pokemon is across the street at a Target and at a Sheets and at whatever, because there is so many different ways to get that kind of MSRP. And like as a store, we always try to treat those kids well anyway. But if you don't have that kind of store that actually cares, that sucks. But
yeah, and you don't have to worry about, as long as it's on the shelves at big box stores, you don't have to worry about whatever the market price is. That's not going to change not going to change the packs at a Walmart.
You're going to see stores go back to limiting in 2025 though. It's going to have a one purchase per person limit on Pokemon at Target again.
Yeah,
this is going to get, 2025 is going to be a big year for Pokemon. I just don't know how long it lasts into 2025. Like, are we still talking about this in December 2025? Maybe, but I think for the first half of the year, it's going to be huge.
And for people looking for value and stuff, like the good thing about Pokemon is the same thing with Magic as like a blue chip, right? If you buy stuff that you look at this and you look at a box of Pokemon, like you often do, Louis. I look at Murders of Carlock Manor and Donald when he buys Lorcana, this box just seems too cheap. It's a lot of fun. I personally have a ton of fun when I open this thing. So I'm going to buy a bunch of them and I'll get value out of it either in fun or sooner or later the community will come around. The beauty with Pokemon is like, sooner or later there'll be another event where people look back on these things and be like, wow, there was some fun stuff to pull in this. I enjoyed this. So there's a butt for every seat, if you will.
Yeah.
So the good news is, even in 2025, when Prismatic Evolutions and Team Rocket is going $400 for an ETB or whatever godforsaken price it's going to be, hopefully there will be things, right? To be like, hey, either I'm chasing fun, I'm chasing value, whatever it'll be. There'll be something to focus in on and enjoy. And I think that's part of the magic of these big blue chip games.
Yeah. And frankly, that's where I think Japanese Pokemon are going to shine in 2025, because people are going to say, I want to open the cards. I just want to have fun, and it's cheaper. Like you're going to see there's in Huntington, there's a new shop that's opened up, and they do just Japanese Pokemon basically. And he's going to do really well this year. It's great. Like, and I was thinking about getting into Japanese this year, and now I'm not, because he's there. Like, it's just not worth competing with it. But that's going to be really good for that scene, because people are going to want cheap packs, and that's where they're going to go. That's interesting. But you can't do set of the year. I think
we can do set of the year. Do you want to take not Surging Sparks?
No, this is for 2025. I'm saying
for next year.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
Yeah. I think we could speculate on box price for Surging Sparks at the end of 2025. That'd be fun.
Oh God, is it just a runaway train? Is it just...
It all matters is reprint. Is how much.
Yeah,
does that matter? Because Distro's already charging. I'm paying more than MSRP when I can get boxes at Distro. I'm paying more than MSRP.
It will. I mean, this just goes back to like, Distro makes money on even their worst Pokemon products that you take. Yeah. Why are they milking every dime out of this cow?
Sweet.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Distro's horrible.
Well, and it's like at some point, it's like, yeah, like what are you gonna do? Otherwise, it's gonna be one guy.
It's just a monopoly. I mean, they just have a monopoly. They can just do whatever they want.
You got to learn how to, as a story, you just got to learn how to play the game. Like a bunch of people are mad at me for charging more than MSRP for Surging Sparks. It's like, I'm the only store in the town that has the boxes because I'm playing the Distro game.
Right.
So like, you be mad at me all you want, but like at the end of the day, like people are coming in buying boxes because I'm the only person that has boxes. Like,
right. You'd be looking at, hey, I spent more on them. Yeah. I still have to make money.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Not a charity.
I hate, can I tell you, I hate that attitude.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't understand it.
Well, from the outside, if you don't know me, you're like, oh, that's the guy who's screwing kids over and charging more than MSRP.
That's what you think. And so you're
it's different if you had the
business elsewhere.
It's different if you had the boxes sitting on the shelf, and then they went up and you're like, oh, I'm just going to mark them up now. Then it is, like you said, having to get them at a higher cost. You're not going to sell them for lower than what you had to get them for.
That's a conversation that's happened a lot in Pokemon world. And like, I think buy your boxes somewhere else. Like I sell, if you are a customer and you buy stuff from me often, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to make sure you get your stuff. If you're a kid that walks in off the street, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to make sure you get stuff. But like the guy who is going to complain on Reddit about you, because like, I don't care about that guy. Like, you're just going to go to the next cheapest place anyway. So like, go buy your boxes wherever you want. Who cares? Drives me nuts.
You don't owe that guy the same, in my opinion. This is why I don't own a store and I sit in the basement and I write code, right? In my opinion, you don't owe that guy the same service, and it's all customers are created equally in good retail. Yeah, well, not in my eyes. Like,
it's like the people who want, Pokemon's the worst with this. They want 80 to 85% for their singles in cash. It's like, all right, man, you want 85% for your singles, go sell the cards yourself on eBay on TCG Player.
I think a lot of that is because the popular content hole that I have fallen into, oh God, is the trade show convention.
Yeah.
Hey, I trade at 8, and that's they do like there'll be a clip in every one of those videos where it's like a high value card. It's like, I trade that at 80%, and everyone's like, I can trade things at 80% now. It's like, it's not, especially in a convention where
first edition Charizard.
What?
It works for a first edition Charizard.
Right. Or at a convention when you're, hey, I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to set it down and someone's going to come by and buy it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where I'm not paying fees on that sale. That works.
Yeah.
People then get that in their mind and like, oh, that's how it works. No, my friend.
Not this.
Or if you're buying it for yourself too, like if you're buying it for your personal collection, you're not reselling. That's a whole different conversation too.
the reseller hate is strong in Pokemon, and probably right. I mean, like there's whatnot streamers that treat people like there's a lot of bad actors in the Pokemon world, so like it makes sense. But
I got a comment on the Surging Sparks video I made. Someone called me, "What are those boxes on the shelf behind you? Are you a dirty reseller?" And I was like,
"Oh, I saw that. I saw that." Yeah.
I was like, "I'm in my basement with my boxes that I went to
what does
my
that even
store."
mean? A dirty reseller?
Yeah. I was like, I don't even know.
I will say, I think what they're probably saying is like the guys who go to like Costco and buy out the entire
by the pallet.
But like, listen, like I don't know, who cares? Like, why are you gonna?
Who was going to Costco to buy that stuff in it? Like, I mean,
there's some cool stuff at Costco, but I just couldn't afford a pallet.
I just like I let people like most people are just mad that they didn't do it.
But that's
that they didn't have the means to do it.
That's always been the case for collectibles, hasn't it been?
Yeah.
Like when something valuable comes out, and I mean, we were collectible kids, right? Something valuable came out. Why couldn't you get any? Well, because all the adults with money came through and bought it all. Like,
remember Beanie Babies?
I never got into the Beanie Baby craze.
That was wild.
Yeah,
I dodged that one.
All right. My prediction for Surging Sparks boxes end of the year is $500 box.
Oh, I was saying 400.
I think we see $500 box.
Wow, Donald.
I'm gonna be the George of the podcast, I guess, and I'm gonna say we're gonna go lower. We're gonna go like 200. We're gonna go down.
Okay.
Just
200
so
is still great.
Sure, yeah.
Just so you know, you're just the Donald of the podcast at that number.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that it goes to 200. I feel like if it goes down to like the 125s.
Oh, you think it becomes a runaway train in the opposite direction?
Yeah, I don't think that there's a middle ground for this set.
It all depends on if there's a whole bunch of it setting around that, now all of a sudden comes out like that.
And I don't think that there currently is. The question is like,
do they just print more?
Everyone keeps saying, is this going to be Vivid Voltage? Are they going to? And like, I think the difference between Vivid Voltage and this set is that the Pikachu in Vivid Voltage was so easy to pull. And this Pikachu is Moonbryon levels impossible.
They're jacking with the pull rates for sure.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And you know what? You know what the wildest thing is? In Magic, as soon as a mythic is more expensive, like a little bit more expensive, everyone's like, Wizards messed with my pull rate. And in Pokemon, they're like, yeah, of course they did. I want to open it. I'm going to buy more boxes. Like, wait,
that's exactly what I said. The Pokemon crowd does not care about doesn't care about
that. And this was what was missing in Scarlet and Violet until this point too. Like Obsidian Games was a joke. You could pull the Charizard, like every third pack was like the secret rare Charizard. It was so easy.
That's the difference when it's a collector's game versus a player's game.
Yeah.
You want it to be hard to pull that stuff in a Pokemon, but in Magic you want it to be easy to pull the good playable stuff. It's such a weird dynamic because they're just two opposites as far as what the community is.
Don't tell them that, Donald. Everyone plays Pokemon.
Oh, I know.
There's so many. Everyone plays Pokemon. It's so.
I played base set and Fossil and Jungle. Yeah,
I think we have successfully gotten to the point where I have to identify myself as a Pokemon collector before a Magic collector now.
Well, yeah, but that's because you spend so much money. You got your
what's right there in your
like I think we're there. Like I think I have to. I think it would be lying if I introduced myself as like a Magic collector now.
I just looked at the Obsidian Flame set, and I didn't even realize one of the Charizards I bought and sent a bunch of to grading was the hyper rare from this Obsidian Flame set.
Nice,
because the margins on it were very fat.
Yeah, that card's popping off right now too. You bought that at a good time.
The gold, it was the gold one, not the special illustration rare, the gold one. Mind. The margins were, it's like an ungraded copy when I bought them was $19 to $20 for near mint, and the graded copies were selling for like $130, $140, and there was like 2 a week.
I forgot that I need to bring you all my base set Pokemon cards that my brother found.
Yes, you do. By you all, you mean me.
Hey, wait, what about me?
That's what I meant.
What about me?
I meant you.
Why did we
I
go
said
through
you.
your? Why are we going through your bulk right now when you're sitting on that?
Will they run through the fizz batch?
No, I don't need to run those through the fizz
Oh.
batch.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
All right. I think. Sorry. I want you to know though, I am an a-hole reseller. I am going to resell your Pokemon cards. I know that's going to get me a lot of hate on the internet, and I'm prepared for it.
I sold you my entire Magic collection at the percentage loss, and I was happy to do so. I helped Joey pack cards for 4 hours today. I don't want that life. I am happy to pay that percentage to not have to do that.
Joey didn't work super hard last week because it was like holidays.
Of course.
Yeah. He didn't finish his orders from last week. And then he had 380 orders today.
Oh.
Added on to what he hadn't done.
Yeah.
300 just from, yeah.
That's
Hey, I helped him get through at least half of it today.
He came in and I said, Happy New Year, buddy. This is what we're talking about at the beginning of the podcast, though, with all the holidays falling on the same day. All right, before we move on, those of you who want to hate on me for the reselling nature of my business, I have some good insults. I've gotten a lot of insults on the channel, and I've curated them to you guys for the best. The number one insult I think is Ash Ketchum wannabe. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was.
It's the hat thing, though, I think.
Yeah, the Ash Ketchum wannabe. But the best insult anyone's ever given me is calling me Olive Garden Italian.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. It's
Yeah, that was Steve. That wasn't an online insult. That was a real in-person, in real life insult. And yeah.
I got at the beginning of 2024, one of my first videos was, "Hey Josh, love your channel. You really need to get back in the gym." It was a comment.
He was probably talking to me. I've noticed I'm more out of
No,
breath
it was
on
just on a standalone Magic talking, and I was like, that
Somebody
motivated.
did comment on one of Louis' videos. He's like, "Dude, you're out of breath when you're trying. You need to probably get in the gym."
When you're walking around a store holding up the camera while you're talking to a video, it's exhausting.
It's hard work.
My last time I was on the podcast, someone commented, "Yay, Eeyore's back," and that was like the high. That's such a term of endearment to me. Like, you have no idea. No idea how happy that makes me.
The self-acceptance you have going on is probably why you're happier than both of us.
All right, sorcery.
I don't know if you're looking for a follow-up, you're the lead here, bud.
Mm-hmm.
I love how quiet it gets every time we bring up sorcery on the podcast.
I've got cards literally at Rudy's company waiting to be graded for sorcery.
That's hilarious. Oh yeah. I was not screen sharing
this entire time.
Just right there. I searched like an idiot thinking it was going to pop up. Sorcery Gothic Set 2025. Okay. Then I hit, and it looked like, I'll show everybody, not you guys, but it looked like, if I hit images, it was going to pop up sorcery. I'm not going to show you the images here. I clicked images and it's all lingerie. Like Gothic girl.
Gothic lingerie.
A little insight into Louis DeGeorge's search history.
No, this is a new browser, remember? We just got a new browser. So there's no way that it's that.
Do you search that when you're sitting at the Olive Garden? Or
you guys watched me delete my browser history before we recorded the podcast.
Yeah, we were all very thankful you did. That shouldn't be out for the public. No grown man should look at those things.
Oh man, I didn't know there was all sorts of Magic spoilers that we could
underwear.
I thought he was going to say lingerie. Donald, I was with you. I thought that's where he's going. I didn't know there was
Magic lingerie.
Now
they need to work on. My goal for sorcery in 2025 is to work on their SEO, because when you search sorcery Gothic Set 2025, Magic pops up. Magic pops up.
No one knows what sorcery is. Google does not know what sorcery is.
Their website doesn't pop up.
I don't think you can what are you gonna do? You're gonna be Wizards of the Coast in SEO? Maybe for a day until someone notices.
If you want your game to overtake them, then yeah.
Oh, is that 2025 prediction? Are you really getting into it?
That's a good one.
That's probably because they didn't actually post a spoiler. That's why I can't find anything. It's all videos. Anyway, they have the Gothic set.
At Sorcery Con. They did it in person at Sorcery Con, right?
All right, you guys want me to start this? What do I
No,
want?
Donald and I are going to start the sorcery segment. Are you ready for some riveting takes?
The number one thing I want from sorcery in 2025 is increased communication.
We're so back.
We're
so back.
I want them to. I think that the community has voted. I don't actually care, for the record. I am so over the negativity about sorcery. It makes me not want to talk about sorcery. I think the community has voted, and that what the current community wants is more like transparency. Not in print runs. I'm not saying that you should release print runs and all that crap. I hate it when people ask for that. But more transparency in like, what are they doing day to day? What are they excited about? What's the new set name? Give us more, like, stop waiting to like build a hype cycle at the end of the year for your release, and just like give us more content.
That's the plight of the indie. I mean, they all struggle with that.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. I mean, and if you want to be a successful indie, you've got to figure out how to overcome that.
Yeah.
Teleporting to the reaction phase in 2022 was not on my bingo card today. But here we are. I've heard you ask for this
No.
for like 5 years. I got, you know, that meme where it's like Vietnam flashbacks and hell.
Yeah.
When you said I need increased communication with the I heard chopper blades. Dude, all came through my head. Whoa.
I mean, we went through that with Cryptic.
Yeah.
I mean, big time with Cryptic. We went through
the exact opposite with MetaZoo when Mike was like, I'm taking a dump right now. Here's a picture, everybody. Snapchat.
Stop talking, Mike. Don't
communicate. I'm gonna just hope that you made that up.
I don't know. Honestly, 2022 was so wild that could have happened. I wouldn't remember it.
It's the background on your phone, isn't it?
No.
It's a Mike.
No,
I think especially when you're only doing one set a year, you've got to keep your community like intrigued in some way. You've got to keep them on the hook. It doesn't have to be spoilers. It doesn't have to be, stuff like that. But you got to be something. Like today we worked on the set size. It's good, don't even have to say what it is, but say like, hey, this is what we're working on right now. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but that puts people you get them on the hook, and then you've got to create some sort of excitement.
Oh, no, let me be clear. I am not advocating for creating hype. That's not what I'm at. I don't want sorcery to be a hyped up product every year. I just think that's so silly, and like, not what sorcery needs is more players. What sorcery needs is, people, collectors who are interested in hold and like are interested in actually collecting and not just investing. Like that's a big thing. And I think you get that by having connection to the company, by being in the head of the company and the developers and the people who care about making decisions. I want to know what Eric is thinking and what he's excited about. I don't want to know why Gothic is going to be the number one selling set of the month on TCG Player. I just want to know. I want to have that connection to the company. I think that's what people get excited about, and what keeps them and holds them into the world of sorcery.
Can I interest you in knowing when Eric has to have a bowel movement? Can
I want the Eric selfie poop. Okay, like, no, I don't want that. That's all I'm saying.
No, I understand what you're saying, and I get it, and it's a challenge we've talked about with sorcery from the get go. When we talked about when you're limiting the number of sets, like sets are the way that set releases are the way you engage your community, because you get to talk about spoilers, you get to talk about design, you get to talk about what the future holds. And when you limit that, you do have to find a new way to engage your community. That to me is a totally fine and fair take. I agree with that on every single point. The thing that I don't understand, and you've said this a lot to me, you don't want hype. Why is hype excitement about sorcery, excitement about here's the next big thing, here's some breadcrumb? Why is that bad?
So I think it's only bad in sorcery's case, and like they need hype. I think you need a hype window for the new release. I'm not saying I don't want that on the new release, but it has to have more depth. Like you have to build the depth first for that to actually matter. And like they have plenty of hype. They're already, I actually have the numbers in front of me. Let's see, TCG player. What was our number? They already had 700, $750,000 in sales on TCG player last year. Like that's a lot of hype. They have a ton of hype on.
That's not hype. That's results.
But those results are because of hype. They've got Rudy. They've got.
Right, but you just said you're not. My question is you're not answering my question. My question is why. Why do you always say I don't want them to lean into this hype machine? I don't want the hype.
We already had that. We already had the hype cycle. We already had everybody being excited about it. Now we need the depth and the connection to the company. Is what I'm saying. Like that's.
I argue you don't have the hype cycle.
I mean, we did. It happened.
Right. You have it just like everyone else. When you release your product, you got a hype cycle, right? I want a hype cycle in the middle of the year. I want a hype cycle at the start.
I don't know how you get that without another release.
I think I maybe could be wrong, but I feel like you're correlating hype with pump and dump. Like
me?
No, Louis. Like you're saying you don't want hype, meaning you don't want people like coming in and buying all the product just to resell it. Is that what you mean by hype?
Dirty resellers.
Resellers.
I'm saying that I think that sorcery already has all the YouTube commenters that it needs. Sorcery already has all the content creators that it needs. What those content creators need is something to create content on. Like No, I'm not gatekeeping. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that they need to like be reaching out to more like
they don't do the mic or the James where it's like
they need to do a van tour.
Hey,
they need eBay exclusives.
Hey, Andrea Mengucci, here's a bunch of money to come play my game and talk about it. Yeah. They don't need that. Yeah.
No. What they need is, I think, connection to the company. They need connection to local game stores. They need they don't need more store kits. Like they don't need that. They just need like stores being excited about running events because they believe in the founders and they believe in the company and they believe in the team behind the game and they're excited to get people to play. Like that's what they need more of. And so that's what I think you get there, not by having another Rudy or Magic Historian or Tolarian Community College making a video. You get there by like sharing your behind the scenes with the community so that people get excited about it. Like,
see, I like.
You need people to sit down and play the game too. I mean,
yeah, and I like for that reason. I like the connection to the game store idea, right? The idea of getting closer to me. That's one of the benefits you have. Is what
Vantor?
No.
I think it's a great idea.
I can't believe I was the only one that called that. Like this.
I thought it was a great idea. I'm not gonna lie.
I did not.
The problem is, I think. Never mind.
In 2023 was it? I couldn't imagine driving to all of my customers when I could personally phone call every one of them once a week for cheaper.
Yeah.
But I think there's something to that. And Donald, you nailed it. More people sitting down and play the game. But I think that happens when you have excited store owners and stuff where you want to sit down and, hey, not force you, but try this game, try this box, open this pack. That's a win. But I don't think you need, less content creators talking about it. Like that's totally fine. I think you need as many people talking about that as humanly possible. I think you need as many people making whatever video they want, whatever complaint they have, like whatever good things they have. I think you want all of that. I think there's no reason not to have that.
Right, but right now, what content would you make? Why would you make content about right now? The content that's being made is the sorcery community is frustrated. And
gameplay. You need gameplay content.
Listen, I love gameplay. I watch gameplay content. I always wanted to do gameplay content, and I just can't do it. I'm just not good enough to it, and I'm not interesting enough. But like, TCGs need more depth. That's the beautiful thing about our hobby is it boils down to playing a game, and to play that game, you buy the product, and to buy the product, you care about the price of the product, and there's a collectible aspect. Like, you need more depth than just gameplay content.
Well, and people who watch gameplay content need to be able to go to somewhere and play it. And that's like, frankly, another, like, I mean, like, you asked me if I could have one thing for sorcery, if I could have one magical click a button and it happens, it would be a digital client. Like, people need a way to play the game outside of stores. Like, I'm increasingly becoming, and this sucks as a store owner, I'm increasingly becoming concerned that the store is not a place that you can actually grow a indie TCG. We're going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about sorcery. We're going to talk about Lorcana. Like, the way that these games grow is that if they have stores who are actually able to host events regularly. And as soon as a store, can't host events, it just dies off and it falls off the face of the earth. And now if you're watching a YouTube video and you're like, oh, I want to pick up this game, I want to try it, and there's not stores, now you have nowhere to play. And so that's why I think these digital clients can be such a good tool for people who want to learn how to play a game. And then they can, if they want the physical product, it still increases the number of physical players because you still want to play it at the kitchen table with your friends and your family. So, I don't know.
It's funny your take on digital client for sorcery is the opposite as your take for digital client for Magic the Gathering.
Well, but Magic
already has it. Magic has it.
I know, and you hate it. You wish they didn't have it. You talk about it all the time.
That magic number. You have to amass that magic number where there's at least somewhere in major metropolitan areas to walk in and play the game.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen indie TCGs do this before. They amassed a certain number where it's like, that's your first step. If I'm in Chicago, I should have a place where I can go to play sorcery. Do you know what I mean? If you're in any major area of a state, you should have a place you can go to play sorcery. And to get there, digital client helps you get there. The next hurdle after that is one that's even more difficult, right? It's, how do I expand? So I'm like, okay, I'm not in Chicago, but in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Do I have a place to go play? I'm in West Virginia. Do I have a place to go play? Right. That's the big challenge. And I think that's going to be a bigger challenge because when you hook someone, when you get them in and they're playing and they play the game and you guys have championed the gameplay and how amazing it is, how fun it is, how quick it is to pick up, the next step isn't there. And this is my big question I've had. And I don't care what it is, but in 2025, sorcery, in my opinion, must build that next step. You must give your user something to do next.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. And maybe it's digital client, right? Maybe it's once you create a code, an account at your game store, you can use it to log into a digital client. But that next step has to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I want to be very clear. I don't think there's any shot that there's a digital client in 2025 or even in like conversation of it. I'm just saying, like, I think that's what I struggle with is how do you keep the community engaged? And that's the big question.
I'm in a weird spot because I truly believe this. I really do. Because of sorcery's ability to pull from Magic fans. One of the biggest TCGs, one of the most casual player bases. Mm-hmm. It's casual gameplay that I've heard so much about, and all of the qualities that it itself possesses outside of these other games. The hand-drawn art, the story behind the game, right? The feel, the look of the cards. If Sorcerer was releasing 3 sets a year, in my opinion, it would be on pace to be the top indie TCG. Because
I think even two would be, I think would be fine.
In my opinion, you need 3 sets a year, and you've targeted and hit the hearts of the things that your biggest TCG audience cares about, that claim to care about the most.
You can only do that if you can convincingly make the game as good as it is and as fun as it is and as high quality as it is with artwork that is really well done or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the only way they can do that. And I don't think that they have the manpower to do that.
Yeah, it takes more resources.
I'm not saying logistically it's possible right now. I'm not saying that you can snap your finger. I'm telling you, if God forbid somebody put me at the head of that company, and that would be the worst thing in the world, the game would be dead. I'm glad the people that are running it. But that would be my first thing is, okay, this is my end goal. I need to get here as efficiently as possible without breaking the beauty that I have created. Yeah. How do I do that?
I'm also not sure that like they see that as a end goal.
They don't.
Like, I don't think that's the major concern there. They want to make sure that they're making a quality product and experience, and if it's only one set a year to do that, then that's what they're not going to sacrifice that.
Those aren't mutually exclusive in my mind.
No.
Oh, I think they are.
No, I mean,
I absolutely do not think that to make a quality product you can do one set a year. I don't think that's true.
If you have, unless you double your manpower and man hours.
That's the thing is you would have to
an object for this company.
They're not to increase resources.
Money's not an object, but resources are an object. Time is. If you are, I mean, like if Eric is the person who you want to do all of your art management, you can't make another Eric. You can't like.
Well, and also
if you do make another Eric, it's not going to be as good as Eric, and so then you're going to have people who are like, well, Eric can do the art design for this.
10% hit there for a 60 to 70% year over year growth, then that's what you do.
Yeah, but listen to these people who are in the Facebook groups complaining about the most mundane little details.
Oh, I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I don't give a. I say shit? I don't give a shit about them.
It's like people are so on edge about every little thing. If you're like, Eric's not going to be doing the art design, everyone's like, oh my god, this set sucked because Eric didn't do the art design and nobody else can possibly be.
Why would we? I'm sorry, Eric Curiosa did the art design. The company. When I write software that hundreds of thousands of payments process through, no one's like, Josh did this. It's just like the company. That's how the world works.
I mean, Magic sets are done by there's countless design teams designing no Magic set is ever designed by the same amount of people.
Yeah. And to be clear, I'm not suggesting that they become Wizards of the Coast with 400 design teams designing sets in correspondence over the course of 7 years and never talking to each other, according to Louis. I don't think we should do that.
There's no shot they talk to each other.
There's no. I think there might be a little shot. There might not be a lot of communication.
It's like a Slack group. That's what they do. They have like a Slack, and nobody ever reads it.
Mr. Microsoft Teams. Okay, calm down. I think that needs to be the goal, because I think, in my opinion, and I'm an idiot in his basement who has cardboard around him, that solves a lot of your problems.
Definitely not gonna happen this year.
Oh, no, I agree.
But
I agree. We're talking about what we want for games in 2025. Sue me. I want more sorcery. Sorry, I would love more sorcery. Lock me up, dude. I want more sorcery. Sorry, guys. Like. The comment section always, whenever I talk about sorcery, is like, he's so negative. I want more of it. I'm the most negative guy ever. Like,
yeah, sorcery comment sections are wild right now. I was so disappointed. I went to I'm not gonna say what video, but I went to a video and I was watching it, and I was like, this guy, the takes are good, everything's great. Like, it's a strong take, but it's good. And the comment section was like, they went straight for the jugular. I mean, they were like, why are you even making content with takes like this? I sent him I left a comment. I was like, dude, your comment section is awful. Like, these people have no life. Like,
even my channel with 100 subs, like when I was making content, I experienced that. I had
send me the video. I'd love to watch it and hear the guy's take.
I will. Indie TCG viewers, if you're still watching this and I haven't, like, you guys need to, people need to get lives.
Be nice.
If your life is so caught up in indie TCGs that when they're not doing, when they are still selling $775,000 a year on TCG Player, like, that you have to go and berate people on the internet who are just trying to make content for the game that you say you like so much, you need to really check yourself. Like, you really need to evaluate.
You can disagree with them. Disagree with them.
Don't be dickheads. Like, people are awful.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm glad I got out of the indie space because Magic fans, the community is so big that most of them just don't care.
They just don't care. Like, it's so different.
Yeah. They're mean in a normal way. They call me fat.
Yeah. Or they're just like, hey man, this was the wrong take.
Yeah.
Like, here's why.
Yeah.
Like,
and then they watch your next video and be like, hey, last one you got wrong, this one you got right. Good job. Like,
yeah. Indie TCGs are wild, man.
It is.
It's wild. It's so wild. I literally something I was like, that thing's a wild, wild west, bro. Keep doing you or don't, and I get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or listen, tap out because it doesn't get easier.
That was a lot of the reason why I didn't want to make content anymore.
Yeah.
You know what you should tell him and Donald?
What?
Just switch to Pokemon.
Yeah, just like
Make
I know
Pokemon.
nothing about Pokemon.
so you can get called a reseller, a dirty reseller. If you have
doesn't matter,
booster
Donald.
box.
I am the opposite of reseller.
That's true. Fair.
All right.
Wait, what do you want from Sorcery in 2025? Did I miss it?
I said it. Better
More
communication.
communication, right?
More communication.
Donald, what do you want from Sorcery in 2025?
What I want, okay, next set in theory, we're assuming is Gothic,
It is
Angels, Demons, right?
It's got.
I want-
great.
Dibs.
I want
Also
more
art.
Seb McKinnon art. Seb McKinnon thrives in that space. Could you imagine Seb McKinnon doing Gothic horror set? Come on. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
I want parallel cards that are Seb McKinnon art and his brother's art. The same card, but parallel arts.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be neat.
Hey, our Seb McKinnon Kickstarter should be coming soon.
I got.
Oh, great. I forgot about
That's my vote for set of the year. Is the next set that they release in 2025? It's gonna be set of the year.
I'm gonna have to agree with Josh. It's gonna be their set of the year.
No, I think it's gonna be the Dragon set, the Dragon mini set.
The one that doesn't exist that you keep talking about.
The Secret Lair.
Yeah.
I knew you loved Secret Lairs.
20 cards up. I was gonna say something. The other thing I want is I want the set size to be alphabet. Yeah, I want it to be 300 plus cards. Really, I want it to be 400 cards.
So that you can lie to us about the fact that there's no binders that could possibly fit it.
I didn't lie to you. I didn't specify 9 pocket, which like
Donald got lied to.
back to the comment section
To our
being
face.
so gross.
To our face. God, you're so wrong, Louis.
It's fair. I was wrong.
I think I would just whether I understand why you want it to be 400. It's a much different like opening experience. I get that, but I think for their sake, I think just coming up with a uniform set size would be helpful. Like if they say all our sets are going to be this size, if you only have one set, like they should all be the same, in my opinion. But
If we get a different size booster box again, if it's not one of the 3 size booster boxes, I'm gonna be
like that's just so awkward for people who
I'm gonna have to be pretty negative of that.
people who are sealed booster collectors. That's awkward to
No, I
do.
don't
Like
care about the screw those dirty resellers.
Yeah, but also, don't design your box around sealed booster collectors. Like,
no, but
a-
still, like it's
from a-
just awkward to have
this is awkward.
From
everything different.
from a logistics standpoint, that sucks.
You should
It
be able
hasn't
to
been bad
look on
yet.
the
Hasn't been bad yet.
like you should be able to look on the shelf and be like, oh, those are sorcery sets. Those are 3 sorcery sets. You know, like
You can because it's the most beautiful box you've ever seen.
the Arthurian Legends box
Yes, I mean,
is the prettiest box I've ever seen.
the alpha beta box is fine.
I thought you
Actually-
were pointing to the Monarch box. I thought you were about to compare the Monarch trash to
Well,
Arthurian Legends.
I threw this across the room a month ago. It has been on my floor. I had to go pick it up because we're so back because of you. And you know what? Hell, we're not back anymore.
when we were at Gen Con at the like sorcery dinner thing, and he showed us the box for the first time,
So good.
I wanted to buy one just because I don't own a single sorcery card, you know. But I wanted to buy one just because that box was.
Oh yeah, do you have
beautiful.
Arthurian Legends, Louis?
Yeah.
I need you to ship me a couple boxes. What's shipping?
Sure thing, bud.
I
I'll
give it.
have to research what size the box is first.
You have to.
Hey,
you have to look at their price on TCG Player and resell them to me.
Hey, remember when you promised me that you would pull me a Seb McKinnon?
Yeah, and I gave it to you, and you
did
lost
not.
it.
That is not true.
I gave you the playmat too.
I have a play mat. You
Probably
never gave
lost
me a
that.
card.
You probably lost that.
Playmat is in my car.
You probably sold it. You probably
Your
sold
competitor.
it. Dirty reseller.
I was going to pull one out of your inventory at the shop, but you don't have it.
He's just gonna walk in it.
That's fine. Worse things have happened in that inventory, I promise you. All right, let's move on to Donald's favorite game, Lorcana. Donald, tell us all the things about 2025 Lorcana. There's apparently a new set that's deadline is tomorrow for pre-order that I didn't even know about.
Which makes no sense because it doesn't come out till March. But they pushed it back a month. So their release schedule for the next two sets are pushed back a month.
Why?
My thought is that they're going to move towards 3 sets a year.
Amen, baby.
I doubt that that's actually the case, but
I hate you, Louis. I hate you so much.
I don't know. I mean, they're at 4 sets a year right now, 1 a quarter. This still qualifies as 1 a quarter. The first 2 release dates that they announced. So we're still probably seeing 4 sets a year, but I think 3 would be a good space for Lorcana. But even at 4, it's fine. The way the league runs is a 12-week league, which is so right at it's 3 months in between sets for each league.
Well, you hit the beautiful facts there, but that's not what this podcast is about. It's about hyperbole,
what do you want to know?
opinion, and gross predictions. What do you want from Lorcana in 2025?
That was awful.
What do I want? That's not what he asked. That's
what I'm asking you. That's what this whole podcast is about.
What I want from Lorcana in 2025. You ready for this? Here's what I want. Rotation.
Ooh.
You're going to create standard in Lorcana. You're going to take the least popular Magic form. You're like, hey, you know what's certainly working for Magic?
I want rotation. We're moving into set 7. I think by set 8 we should have rotation.
Wow, I like it.
Yeah.
Why do you hate people's money so much?
If they do
it is not expensive to. I mean, sure, but like,
if they do that, they need to create a legacy format.
Oh, for sure. There should be a set format where you play all, and there should be a standard rotation. 8 sets is just too much to have. It's a lot, and
Magic and 5 years worth of sets now, right?
I know, I get it, but like
Foundations for 5 years.
Yeah. At some point, we've got we're just playing the same decks. We're playing the same decks every set. One new deck will emerge for a while, and then it gets metagamed out.
We need to do more sealed in our store. I think the problem is League hurts that.
The problem is finding a day to do it.
Well, no, you would just do it the same day as League, but you can't do that because people want to play their decks at League.
Right. Yeah. If we were going to do, it's hard. It's hard because especially now where everything's got its time slot and we can't overlap anything.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a time to do that because I don't think you can't get rid of your constructed play.
Mm.
But
I want to see Lorcana move away from hodgepodge sets to more themed sets.
Every set has been themed.
No, it hasn't. You have 100 different characters in it.
Aether Drift?
Every set has been themed except for first chapter.
You want murder?
You know nothing about Lorcana sets. Tell me
what's the theme of Azurite Sea?
The Azurite Sea.
What is that?
It is the sea, and it's pirate themed. The whole set is pirate themed.
Right, but there's multiple characters in it.
What he's saying is,
how many characters are in a Pokemon set?
It's all Pokemon. It's all one.
They're all Disney characters.
Yeah, but I want an Aladdin Lorcana set. Just Aladdin.
Where it's only Aladdin cards?
Yeah. I want Toy Story, and it's just Toy Story. We're playing, and it's me, and I'm Buzz Lightyear, and you're Woody, and we're battling. That sounds freaking awesome to me. I don't want to play against Rapunzel. I don't want to. Okay, well, no one cares what you think.
Universe is beyond argument. I feel like you have to, but I'm fine with it though.
Yeah.
Okay. Every set has a IP that it's focused around, and the set
barely. Like on the Azurite Sea box.
You have never opened a single pack of Lorcana.
On the Azurite Sea box.
That's the boldest claim. Hold on.
I've been with him when he has. So yes, that's a bold claim. But still.
Pack of Lorcana.
You've got Baymax. You've got your favorite little. What's that guy's called?
And it doesn't
Stitch.
And then it doesn't have to be once. You could have a space set, right? Where it's Buzz Lightyear.
What's different with a pirate set? I just said there was a pirate set
in that set that have never been pirates.
I don't like what Josh said. I'm against what Josh said. I don't want to have a space set, and in the space set you have.
Yeah, but you can't.
Baymax.
Only in Aladdin set you have access to 4 characters.
Yeah, that's what
you could make an entire game around Aladdin. Aladdin is GOAT, baby. Aladdin is so good.
So you have to make 200 cards around Jasmine and Aladdin only.
Magic
That's
did
dumb.
it. They did a whole set on it.
Well, hold on. Let's not be disrespecting Abu. Okay.
Yeah, like you could make a whole set around that, and then it would excite people to like know what the theme is.
If you do that, you have to keep 4 sets a year because there's not a ton of depth there.
I disagree.
But
you're telling me there's not depth in Toy Story?
Well, I certain things work.
I've cried watching Toy Story more than any other time in my life.
Toy Story, you could do a set on. There's enough. There's enough
Aladdin
characters
is
there.
not the best example.
Yeah,
there's multiple Aladdins, but nobody knows anything but the first one.
Dude, Aladdin 2 is actually low-key better than Aladdin 1.
Okay, well, low-key, none of your opinions matter for the rest of the podcast because we found out you're a dope.
You've probably never even watched Aladdin 1. You didn't even know there were songs in Aladdin 1, okay?
You did. Yeah, you did not know
I
that.
kind of rate my Disney movies by how long it takes me to fall asleep.
Yeah. So, once again, people that...
You didn't like Frozen either, which is...
People's opinions that matter.
Frozen's the worst movie.
And you've
we're
given
going
us a
to
little
see,
window into the inside of
movies. We're going to see what are we going to see tomorrow? Sonic 3.
Nice.
Have you seen the first 2?
Yeah, in movie theaters with my kids. Yeah. They were in like the $1 free movie for kids in the summer. We went and saw them. So they're very excited to go. This one's going to cost me like 20 times what it cost me to see the first 2. But
dude, movies, we took Cam to the movies. We got our dinner there, which was a mistake. Got our hot dog and fries and mistake.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me anymore. Now when I go to a movie, I'm like, I know it's going to cost way too much, and so then I just double down on it. I'm like, I want ice cream. I want the. When we went to the movies, we did this. We bought so much money worth of food. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, hold on. You gotta have soda, and then you gotta have popcorn to hang or soak up the hangover.
God. Oh, that did not work.
It did work. I love the popcorn. Movie theater. I was upset that I couldn't do my own salt. They had a butter station. Okay, this is a far more interesting conversation. What movie theater has a butter station? Yeah, great. Get
all of them now.
No. Get my popcorn half full. I can push my own butter. It's great.
That movie theater sucked.
No salt. No salt at the station. I had to go back to them for salt.
Yeah.
What kind of ridiculous behavior is this?
Yeah, they were like frustrated with us for going to the movie too, because we were the only people there.
And they were even more frustrated when I left my badge and I just walked by them. They're like, "You can't go in there." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm gonna go." They had security follow me out.
Yeah, who's going to stop you? Who's going to stop you? You're 7 foot tall. Who's going to stop you?
My thought was the little lady yelling at me from behind the counter and the little boy yelling at me from behind the counter. I'm like, I don't think you really care that much, and I want my badge. That was
I can basketball palm your head and.
Yeah. I think Lorcana is firmly in the success category.
Yeah, no one's questioning that.
But I think in 2025, like they're big. I think they're gonna have to lower the print run.
Yeah,
like people are buying significantly less Lorcana.
Significantly,
they don't want to open boxes anymore. They've already done that. They just want to buy the singles.
We've entered the indie TCG argument.
Yeah,
where it's like, of course, boxes aren't selling. Everyone's buying singles, and it's like in games that are popular,
right? Both
happen.
I also think, though, going back to rotation, I think that has a lot to do with it because now when a set comes out, you only need 4 or 5 cards from it to put into the decks that already exist. So what's the point in opening the box?
Yeah, it won't hurt.
Like I just buy the one card I'm adding into my deck. Like I added one new card this time around, like into the same deck I've been playing. So
you're onto something with the decreased print runs. The thing I don't want Lorcana to do is because it objectively, completely objectively, they came out to an extreme bang that was more than they could ever hope to live up to because it's so popular, and that was always going to happen. They followed up and they did fine, and they've been doing okay. I do not want to see them get complacent. Yeah. They have to keep trying to do new things.
Yeah, I think they are. They've done the enchanted changing and like so. Yeah, I think they are. And one big focus that they've had at the end of this year was the organized play, and I think that their 2025 will be another push into more organized play with all the challenges that's going on. There's a Australian challenge happening. It releases in China or Japan, maybe not China. Anyway, it releases in Asia somewhere this year. And they've already announced a challenge circuit over there as well. So I think they're starting to lean heavy into the organized play, whereas when they took off, they didn't. Like there was no organized play to begin with.
Yeah, sure.
So that is still developing, which is why I think this year moving towards a rotation is the next healthy step in organized play.
So I'm going to say this one more time, and this time I want you to react in a way that doesn't indicate that I went over to Ravensburger's house and kicked their puppy, right? Like you don't have to aggressively defend them. All I said was I want them to continue to innovate and find new things. I don't want them to get complacent and be like, hey, guess what we did for 2024? 4 sets feel very homogenized. Just do that again. I don't want them to do that. I want them to constantly to change things because part of your challenge is keeping people coming back. You've got the Disney IP and you've done a great job of bringing them in for the first time, right? Yeah. Keep them in the door.
I think one thing that they're good at, though, in that regard, is listening to the community. You know, like
we'll see if they make a Aladdin set or not.
Well, the shrink wrap thing was a good testament to that. You know, when
that was 2 years ago now. At this point,
it's only been out for a year.
You can't justify not shrink wrapping your boxes.
August of 2023.
Don't get into facts, guys. We are an hour and 41 minutes into this podcast.
Sorry.
Who cares?
All right.
I do. I have a non-shrink wrap box.
First anniversary was in August. Just saying.
Sure. All right.
We got pins at Gen Con that say first anniversary.
Let's talk about all of our favorite game, the 4th biggest trading card game in 2024, Star Wars Unlimited. Everybody.
Are you going? Wait, are we going by the TCG player banner order?
Here's my prediction for 2025 for Star Wars. It doesn't make it to the end.
Really?
No, there's no way. They have a contract.
Yeah, I think they stick it through the end of the year.
I don't think they have more players in 2025. But
15,000 strong.
So they have Star Wars. We haven't talked about this actually. They have collector boxes coming out. They're called Carbonite boxes.
Yep.
That might pull 5 new people in.
That's going to be bad.
The problem is they did it after everybody lost faith in collecting their game.
Right.
They're making it easier to pull too and more expensive to buy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think Star Wars missed the boat. Like I think you don't get 2 shots at this stuff, right?
No,
like,
you really don't.
You don't bring people in Star Wars case.
Not in an indie.
Well, not for Star Wars too, because this is the 3rd Star Wars TCG.
Don't call it an indie, Donald. You're going to spark a whole argument. We're an hour and 45 minutes into this podcast. I just heard.
And they are now split between Star Wars and Altered from a company standpoint. 2 brand new games that are both not.
They're both terrible.
They're both not what? They're both not what?
Not doing so hot.
2 games that you heavily invested in.
No.
How's that hyperspace collection going?
Heavily for the rest of us.
I don't think I own a single Star Wars card anymore.
That's good. How much money did you lose selling them?
I definitely lost. Who knows? Who can tell?
Who told you that's a bad idea to buy those?
Who can tell? Who could possibly tell?
Who could tell?
I graded one because I graded one and I made a lot of money because it was a 10. I was one of those dirty resellers that graded something.
God, you're such a dirty reseller.
He's not a reseller. He's a pump and dumper. Get it right.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, 100%. And also, I'm a business owner. I have an actual. Anyway,
Me too. Me too.
No, I'm not. Anyway, I think Star Wars needs to go back to some of the basics, and like they tried to do all these like big tournament things, and they got too. They tried to grow too fast.
Well, they also
they started with the organized play instead of the other way around. Before you had an established player base, they came in heavy with organized play. And
you think there's something to the fact that they, rather than trying to grow too fast, they didn't adhere to the basics.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
no matter how
exactly.
They grow, there's some basics here in TCGs. Make a good game. Support your loyal community.
Print boxes.
Your boxes have to be available, and yet you have to play that game. You have to do the balancing act that it sucks that we criticize everyone for doing, but you have to do it. And they're like,
instead they went direct to Amazon.
Yeah, we're not doing this. We're not doing this game. Look what Magic did. And I'm like, man, buddy, you're not Magic. Like,
yeah.
And everyone hated it when Magic did it. They're just big enough to survive.
It will be really interesting to see. I'm always intrigued at how many people walk in the store and ask for something. And Star Wars was huge. I mean, we had people traveling from all over the place to come buy boxes of Star Wars. And like nobody ever asked for it anymore. Like it is not, I mean, they have completely lost the competitive edge that they had at the start of last year. 2025, I think I would like to see them move towards the game store, but they won't. Like the problem is I know they won't. Like they've already shown their face. Like they've already shown
their
what
cards, if you will.
They've shown their cards. They know we know what they're trying to do. They want to make as much money as possible, as quickly as possible.
They're doing a bad job at that.
Yeah, and they did a bad job at it.
I mean, are they? They print a lot of stuff they sell to distro. They made that's money made. You always told me with MetaZoo, hey, when the stuff is printed and sold to distro, guess what? Money in the company's
pocket. They make so many.
But at what point does distro stop buying that product?
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that it's going to continue in the future, but to this point, they've sold their stuff to distro.
I mean, we were like Star Wars singles were selling so fast too. Like there was a market for sure, and it seems.
But so were cryptic singles at one point. So,
at
least according to phone calls with you,
not nearly as fast as that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, cryptic singles did really well on my Shopify site when nobody else was selling singles, but
I always said at that point you should change your logo, the double M's. You're the biggest business in town, baby. Doing it.
I don't know what else to even say about Star Wars. I think
it lives the year, but
yeah, I mean they tried to do the multiplayer format, and that basically got nowhere. The Twin Suns thing.
Yeah.
Their idea for multiplayer was buy 2 decks.
Hey, I like it from a business.
It works out great for them. For a business stance, it's great.
I think their biggest struggle in 2025 is going to be balancing between 2 games that are not as successful as they want them to be.
This was the struggle with multiplayer that we always talked about, though. Even before you get into that, it's the Commander magic is that it wasn't made by WotC. There's no ulterior motives to that format. No company made it.
Now there are.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. The format's
it's established.
It exists. So you will never take that away from the Commander format. All these companies trying to get into multiplayer, there is someone somewhere that suggests from the format's inception, how can we monetize and push this? Yeah. And the beauty of Commander is that wasn't the case. It was just made.
Well, Altered has the same issue with like the game. The game was not ready. It was not. Like it's out, but it's still you can't do the big thing that the whole game was designed.
The next set's coming out, and you still can't do it.
Yeah, like so, it's the same thing with Star Wars. It's like they weren't ready to come out. They were not ready. They didn't have all their ducks in a row. They were not prepared, and it's just a. I mean, when I saw that, I was excited about the TCG until I saw Fantasy Flight was in charge, and then I lost all interest.
Yeah, everybody else got that right on this podcast. And me and Josh. George there. I was like, Fantasy Flight certainly learned their lesson.
No.
How do
you do this
wrong for so long and not?
Yeah, it's amazing.
How do you not?
It's amazing.
Like I was going to be. We had this conversation, Louis. I'm sure you don't remember, but I do. I was like, don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to pick between Star Wars or Lorcana when they come out. They're coming out at the same time, and like I was excited. I knew we were going to Gen Con, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna like that's when they're going to release all this stuff, and like I'm going to be all in on Star Wars. And then I find out it's Fantasy Flight. And I'm like, well, I'm going to push Lorcana now. I don't care anymore.
Because I wish you would have gone with Star Wars.
Wow.
Yeah.
You hate your
I
friend.
mean,
and on that note,
because
what a
like
podcast.
it would have like he's built a huge.
I could have built a community, but to what end? Like,
Yeah. It would've left.
I guess it is going to go away, huh?
Yeah.
I really love the gameplay of Star Wars. Like,
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
it just goes to show you good gameplay alone does not get it done.
They did everything else so wrong.
Yep. Does not get it done.
It'll be interesting to see how the collector boxes do and what that kind of world
The
is.
carbonite boxes,
Yeah. That'll be interesting. I don't have much faith in it, but
it's gonna be bad.
carbonite boxes, Star Wars. Let's see if we can pull up the contents. Jump to Lightspeed Carbonite Edition. It literally just looks like a collector box. It's the same shape.
Yeah, I've seen that.
16. It's the exact same thing. This is a huge mistake.
I will point out that the convention exclusive for Star Wars from 2024 is more expensive than D23 2024.
Wow.
And
that's because you couldn't get them.
That was a big deal in this podcast. George said that would never happen. It was impossible.
Well, the D23, the 2024 D23 was way more accessible than.
We knew all this, and I was told it was impossible. We had all these facts. I was told.
I'm not George. I actually talk about facts.
Doesn't seem like it's impossible.
But we all tried every morning at breakfast to get that Star Wars convention.
Day, I tried very lightly.
Yeah, I had given up by that point.
I had given up.
But yeah, like it was impossible to get.
The biscuits and gravy, they were calling my name.
Oh my god, I would kill for some of those biscuits and gravy.
Say MagicCon right around the corner. I'm gonna get me some.
They don't have any images of the carbon exclusive treatment. But there's no unique cards in the carbonite packs.
Well, you don't want functionally unique cards.
No, I know. I'm just saying. This set, it's kind of sad that, dude, they still did Han so dirty that artwork looks terrible.
All right, let's wrap this up. I gotta pee.
No,
you got a cup there.
The artwork still looks so bad. How is their artwork so
I already
bad?
did that once. I'm almost out.
He looks awful. All right. Last game we know nothing about. One Piece.
Oh,
yeah. I have no takes on One Piece.
I have a big take.
How do you?
I think in 2025 they find the second piece.
I'll do it.
Joey would be so disappointed in you.
Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you are an audio-only listener, make sure to rate us on Spotify and give us 5 stars, because after that take, we need it. It's for our psyche more than anything else. What are we doing?
I have no clue with any of the One Piece stuff.
One Piece will continue to do what they're doing. It'll be fine.
They should do exactly what they did last year because it was super good.
Yeah, well, they'll continue to do what they're doing. It exists. That community out there that wants it will continue to buy it. Will they pull in new players? No.
Dude, they're getting lots of players. The gameplay super fast.
But the One Piece show came out, and like that's a good way to pull in players, but that's already happened. I don't know that you're pulling in new players.
The problem with One Piece is that we can't say it on the podcast. If you want to sell more boxes to the people who want One Piece, you just got to put blessed women on the cards. Like that's all that they care about.
It's the same that
mega cards.
Force of Will had
this. The White Schwartz formula, and it'll be around forever because of it.
So, but One Piece, I don't know. This is gonna be great. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Go subscribe to Josh's channel over at Hometown TCG on YouTube, and make sure you hop in the Discord server at KitchenTableTCG.com or pick up some product there while you're there. And you can subscribe to Scruffy Looking Gaming
I got 2 new subs last time.
That's more than I got last month. I was -4 subs last month, Josh.
That makes sense.
But that's because you literally just went through the world's biggest sub growth that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I basically stopped making content for like 3 weeks. Too.
And you're popping off. You will get no sympathy for if you're looking for my tiny channel to be like, oh, I'm sorry. I hope things go better for you.
I was just sharing. Donald had more subs than me last month. It's great.
No, you're crushing.
And I haven't made a video in a year.
You're absolute destroying YouTube right now. Gets no sympathy from me.
That's not what's happening. Love you all. Thanks for watching, listening, and being here. Be kind to the people around you. May the zoo be with you.
And also with you.
I agree.